Hello everybody, welcome to this grammar class. In today's lesson, I'm going to tell you about nouns. In English, nouns are very important because they are the basic elements of a sentence. So today I'm going to try and teach you as well as I can to know everything about nouns. Let's get started. First, you have to know about nouns. What's a noun? A noun is a word used to identify any of a class of people, places, or things, such as the common nouns, or to name a particular one of these, like a proper noun. So, dog is a noun. Bed is a noun too. Car, bus, wife, all of these words are nouns too. So simply, you can say that a noun is the part of a speech that names a person, place, thing, or idea. Now, we are moving to know different types of nouns. We have many types of nouns. Concrete nouns, the abstract nouns, countable and uncountable nouns, collective nouns, proper nouns, common nouns, and finally, regular and irregular nouns. Let's begin and know what's the difference between the concrete nouns and the abstract nouns. Usually, we gather them in one item, but to explain them clearly, I separated them and put each one of them in a slide. First, the concrete nouns. A concrete noun is a noun that can be identified through of the five senses. What are the five senses? The five senses are taste, touch, sight, hearing, or smell. So, what you can recognize, what you can identify by my senses is a concrete noun. Everything that can taste, touch, see, hear, or smell, all of these things are concrete nouns. Like, look at the next example. What's the noise? What's that noise? Where's the noun here? Noise is the noun here. Let's think a little bit. Noise is something can be identified with one of my senses. What's the sense I used here? Which is hearing. So, if I can hear you noise, so it's a concrete noun. Okay? I think this is so easy for you. So, even though noise can't be touched, but you can hear it, right? So, it's a concrete noun directly. Okay? Mr. Bond pursued his dream of photographing rainbows. Rainbow is a concrete noun. Why? First, I can see it, right? Yes, and also Mr. Bond. Mr. Bond is a human. So I can see him, I can touch him, I can hear him when he speaks, right? So Mr. Bond is a concrete noun and rainbows is a concrete noun too. And here is some examples down. Dog, building, tree, man, Andrew, Ashley, table, iron, and so on. Understood? I think yes. Okay, let's move. The type of the concrete noun is the abstract noun. What's an abstract noun? An abstract noun is a noun that can't be perceived using one of the five senses. Taste, touch, sight, hearing, or smelling. For example, we can't imagine the courage it took to do that. Courage is an abstract noun because it can't be seen, heard, tasted, touched, or smelled. I provided two more examples down to recognize abstract nouns more or see the usage of abstract noun in a context. Early paleontologists assumed that the small brains of some dinosaurs indicated stupidity of the species. higher education is strongly recommended. So, in the first example, I underlined the word stupidity. Stupidity is a word or a noun, can't be recognized with the five senses, so it's abstract noun. Education too is an underlined word, which means that this is a noun and we can't recognize education or identify it by one of our senses, so it's an abstract noun too. More examples: truth, danger, happiness, wisdom, life, faith, and so on. Now, I'm quite sure that you understand the difference between abstract and concrete nouns. Let's move and see another type of nouns. Countable and uncountable nouns. It's important to distinguish between countable and uncountable nouns in English because their usage is different in regard to both determiners and verbs. The countable nouns. What are the countable nouns? From its name, countable means that you can count them, right? So, countable nouns are four things that we can count using numbers. They have a singular and a plural form. The singular form can use the determiner a or an. If you want to ask about the quantity of a countable noun, you ask how many, combined with the plural countable noun. For example, she has 3 dogs. I bought 3 dresses. I own a house. She has a cat, and so on. So, the countable nouns mainly have singular and plural, like 1 dog, 2 dogs, 1 man, 2 men, 1 idea, 2 ideas, and so on. Clear? I think yes. Uncountable nouns are for the things that we can't count with numbers. They may be the names for abstract ideas, or qualities, or for physical objects that are too small or too amorphous to be counted, like liquids, powders, gases, and so on. Uncountable nouns are used with a singular verb. They usually don't have a plural form. We can't use a or an with these nouns. To express a quantity of an uncountable noun, use a word or expression like some, a lot of, much, a bit of, a great deal of, or else. Use an exact measurement like a cup of, a bag of, 1 kilo, 1 liter, a handful of, a pinch of, an hour of, a day of, and so on. If you wanted to ask about the quantity of an uncountable noun, you ask how much. We never use how many with quantities. Like the following examples. Let's see. The first example says, there has been a lot of research into the causes of this disease. Next example, he gave me a great deal of advice before my interview. Can you give me some information about uncountable nouns? So, research is uncountable noun here in this sentence. Also, advice, uncountable noun. Information too is an uncountable noun. And if you pay attention, you will find that each word of them used some words before, like a lot of, a great deal of, or some, and so on. Other examples like safety, love, money, beauty, rice, oil, juice, knowledge, all of these words or nouns are uncountable nouns. Then we have another type of nouns. Here we have the collective nouns. Collective nouns is the word used to represent a group of people, animals, or things, like what's represented in the infographic below. The collective nouns are shown in yellow. Like for people, a gang of thieves. For animals, a murder of crows. For things, a fleet of ships, and so on. We have a lot of collective nouns like herd, school, and so on. Like here. Look at this, guys. A collective noun is the word used to represent a group of people, animals, or things. You can treat a collective noun as a singular or plural depending on the sense of your sentence. Like the audience is happy. The audience are from different countries. If you think a little bit about the two sentences, guys, here, you will find that there is a big difference between the two sentences. In the first one, I used the singular verb, and in the second one, I used a plural form. Why? Let's think. In the first one, the audience is happy. Where's the subject in the sentence? The subject here is audience. Read the next sentence. The audience are from different countries. Oh my God, it's the same subject. So how come in the first example I used is as a singular verb, and in the next one I used the plural form of the verb? Why? I'll tell you. In the first sentence, I'm talking about the audience as one unit. But in the second sentence, I talk about the audience as members. Understood? So, collective nouns can be singular or plural in the sentence, and this depending on the sense of your sentence. People will expect you to treat a collective noun as singular unless you have a good reason for treating it as a plural noun, as we explained in the previous sentence. Other types of collective nouns: fleet of ships, pack of cards, a forest of trees, a band of musicians, a gang of thieves, a troop of dancers, a flock of sheep, a pride of lions, a hive of bees, and so on. Why should I care about collective nouns? By far, the most common question about collective nouns is whether to treat them as singular or plural. I gave you a brief explanation in the previous slide about that. So, in other words, should you write the group is or the group are? This is an example. Well, both can be right. How? Let's discuss it in the following two sentences. The shoal was moving north. The shoal were darting in all directions. In the first sentence, the shoal is considered as one unit, as I explained in the previous sentences. Therefore, shoal is treated as singular. However, in the second example, the shoal is considered as lots of individuals, and shoal is treated as plural. Like the difference between the audience is happy and the audience are all wearing comedy wigs. In the first sentence, audience is happy when I talk about the audience as one unit. But in the second one, it's plural. Why? Because I'm talking about the audience as members, not as a whole unit. Now, I'm going to move to the last item in this session today. The last type, the difference between common noun and proper noun. First, we're gonna explain the common nouns. All nouns serve to name a person, place, a thing. Those that identify general people, places, things are called the common nouns. They name that which is common among others. Like, he sat on the chair. I live in a city. We met some people. She went into politics. Our teacher is beautiful. Let's go down to the lake. In each sentence, I used a common noun. In the first sentence, let me hear you. Yes, the common noun is chair. In the second sentence, who told me? Yes, it's a city. In the third one, people is the common noun. In the fourth sentence, politics is the common noun here. And in the next sentence, teacher is a common noun. And of course, your teacher is beautiful. And finally, the last sentence used lake as a common noun. The common nouns simply don't specify a thing, a person, or a place. They are common among others. Clear? What's a proper noun? A proper noun is a specific, not generic, name for a person, place, or thing. Proper nouns are always capitalized in English, so easily we can recognize them, no matter where they fall in a sentence. So if they come at the beginning, the middle, or at the end of a sentence, they must be capitalized. Because they endow nouns with a specific name, they are also sometimes called proper nouns. Like when a person has additional words added to his or her name, known as an appellation. This becomes part of the proper noun, and it's also capitalized. Some linguists distinguish these as proper names rather than proper nouns. For example, Prince William is adored by many people. Job titles and familial roles. Many times a person may be referred to according to a professional title or familial role instead of by name. In this case, the title is being used as a noun of address and is considered a proper noun, even if it would be a common noun in other circumstances, like the word prince is a common noun. But when we added the word prince to William, it becomes a part of the name. So it's a proper noun too. Prince William becomes a proper noun or a proper name. For example, how are you doing, coach? I need your advice, Mr. President. Mr. President becomes a proper noun according to a professional title. Clear? Mom, can you come with me to the playground? Mom too becomes a proper noun now because it refers to a familiar role. With proper nouns, I will end up my lesson today. Good job, everybody. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have now a better understanding of different types of nouns. I know it's hard, but I also know how smart you are. And with practicing, it will be perfect. Thank you. See you next lesson.